Now Brian Gallagher drops back in case D'Amato needs help. D'Amato sends Gallagher down low, unable to get by as we're under 10 seconds. Oh, D'Amato went for a block, missed time. Both the Rustlers go by D'Amato. They both score points. What a great job for the Texas Rustlers, picking up 3 points.
And the frustration of Mark D'Amato, he takes it out of number 47, Chris Cheadle, and he goes back after him again, Ken. And I don't think that referee Sean Corbin is going to have any of that, as Mark D'Amato better watch it, or he's in danger of spending a lot more time out of the stadium than just in the penalty box. But what precipitated that was precipitated frustration by the enforcers all day. And Mark D'Amato throws an air ball, almost ends up hurting himself on the railing over there as he in the penalty box is breathing a little bit heavy.
And now the enforcers already trailing by 2, skating short-handed. Referee Sean Corbin, rightly so, giving Mark D'Amato a 1-jam penalty. And what a great job by Texas. And now breaking free on the inside is John Morrissey, but right away being trailing by Sigmund Williams. And now here comes Blaise Leon out. The enforcers almost looking at one another, wondering where this team came from. They certainly are not Texas team they remember from the last shellacking they gave them.
Well, the Texas Rustlers, you can see in their faces, Ken, they're a much more motivated team. Even though Williams goes down, they see a little bit, you see motivation, excitement, and intensity in their face we're not used to seeing.
Now a high five from Morrissey and Blaise Leon, but you got to wonder, fellas, you're still trailing by 2. I don't know if this is the time to be high-fiving. Tim Washington now laying back, directing traffic. Washington has got setting something up. He's looking at Bill Daly. The forearm, down goes Daly. Big Tim Washington sends another Rustler over the rail. Tim Washington now sends Gallagher into the rail. Tim Washington literally clearing house as the New York enforcers pick up 6 big points. Morrissey and Leon scored it, but all due to that man right there, Tim Washington.
We talk so much about Tim Washington intimidating fellow players, Ken, but I tell you, he's a very tactically sound player. We hear him blocking, not for the sake of beating guys up, but for the sake of helping his team score.
11-7 New York enforcers. That's the kind of jam we're used to seeing out of New York. One thing about the enforcers, they may be bent, but they have yet to ever break here in the WSL. And now Brian Gallagher gets a double whip from his teammates, but immediately Dan Giovanni springs free for the New York enforcers. This, without a doubt, one of the best skating games we have ever seen in the WSL. And what? Who'd have thought it would have involved the Texas Rustlers?
Well, and Brian Gallagher is one of those guys the Rustlers count on because he does have some experience, unlike most of his teammates. And he is really going to be pivotal if they're going to continue to play like they have so far.
And there's something we don't see, physical play out of Gallagher, sends Giovanni down. But now back to block, and it's big Tim Washington along with Brian Gamble. So Gallagher certainly has his work cut out. Now he slows down. One of his teammates is telling him he's going to try and break it up as they come around. The big lift from Bill Daly sends Gallagher over. It goes by Gamble and Washington, as well as Mark D'Amato. Gallagher picking up 3 Texas points, but boy, did he pay for it.
Bill Daly and Brian Gallagher working very well as a team here, Ken. Tim Washington and Brian Gamble setting the double block. Gallagher goes over with a lift from Bill Daly, his teammate, but Mark D'Amato didn't like it too much, and he gave an exclamation point that I'm not going to stand for much of this. As he always does, he gets it done at the end.
We're underway, 40 seconds remaining. This will be the final jam of the period, 11-10. Tim Washington now out in front. Sigmund Williams goes right by him using his speed. Washington gives the whip to Dan Giovanni. Giovanni trying to catch up, and now again 2 of the Texas Rustlers. Marcus Cabrera, Sigmund Williams, both out. Down goes Giovanni. Here they come closing around. Not even another New York jammer out. Cabrera and Williams, in fact, is Captain Mark D'Amato, along with Tim Washington and Brian Gamble. And now, D'Amato goes to double bulldog, a double King Kong clothesline from Tim Washington and Brian Gamble. Rustlers all over the track, but they did get 2 points as they passed D'Amato. so the half ends Rustlers 12 and Enforcers 11.
Well, those 2 points may have come at a great expense as you see the 2 World Trade Centers, it looks like. We talk about the 5-borough lineup where Brian Gamble and Tim Washington brought the house down. And Sean Atkinson of the California Quakes is in the stands, and he's mixing it up with them, too. We'll be back for halftime.
It's the Texas Rustlers 12, the New York Enforcers 11. Welcome back, everyone, to RollerJam Arena. We're at halftime of a shocker. I'm Ken Resick, along with Lee Rehrman and roller derby legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. 12-11. Who would have thunk it? The Texas Rustlers leading New York. From my standpoint, I think it's a combination that the Enforcers have taken the Rustlers a little too lightly, and no one can really blame them. Texas is winless, and the Rustlers, Lee Rehrman, have really stepped up their game. No one ever thought it would be this close.
Well, the last thing on earth I want to do is sound like a New York Enforcer fan, Lord knows. But I tell you, this is the same kind of play we've always seen out of these Texas Rustlers. They get out early. We saw their women hold it tough. They were only beaten by 1 point in the first period, but we saw the Texas Rustlers win by 2 points in the second period. The men outscored the New York Enforcer men 8-6. But physical play, like you see Craig Fisher receiving from Tim Washington early, then you see him taken down Daly, then Roquebert, and last but not least, he really lowers the boom on Brian Gallagher. That kind of punishment is going to take effect, and it's just going to wear him out, and I think the Texas Rustlers are still going to fade late in the game, Ken.
Buddy Atkinson Jr., our expert. What does this do to Texas? They're probably taking double looks at the scoreboard.
Well, they're going to have to rethink because they're going to have to go back to manhandling, and you saw that that's exactly what they're trying to do. Best thing to happen for this young Texas team is to stay out of the grips.
Now, one thing I can tell you about Texas, granted they are winless, but they are very proud of their heritage. They are extremely proud of their large and growing fan base. As a present to their fans, they put together this music video, Proud to be a Rustler.
I'm proud to be a Rustler and obey tradition. There's no use in you who I am. We've had up the drop that and the WSL. We're not falling off the jam. We come from the Lone Star and the ups and low bars. Determined and bulldog their best. The soccer like hammers will crush all their jammers and show we're the pride of Rush a load of hay, hey, sweet darling, rush a load of hay, hey, my dear. I spent the life by some route, for me from Texas, I'm here.
At this time, Buddy Atkinson Jr. and I would like to issue a disclaimer. The thoughts and actions and sounds of Lee Rehrman do not in any way reflect our opinions or thoughts. Thank you very much, Hawk. Buddy Atkinson Jr., halftime, the Texas Rustlers leading the prime time of the WSL, the New York